Namaste. New yoga class dropping today. Hey, you only have 5 minutes? Go ahead and press play. The whole first vinyasa will move you through a series of spinal twists and forward bends and complete within 5 minutes. Stick with us, stay inspired, go deeper into those postures. The second vinyasa will complete in 15 minutes, or get your full practice in today along with some advanced poses and shavasana in 45 minutes. We're trying to work with you and give you ways to get yoga into your life, so today it's about time. Let's get started. From the top of your mat, take your left foot straight back to a short lunge, little bend in both knees, feel a little bounce in your lunge. We're going to scoop the air up with our inhale. Exhale, reach the arms back, lengthening the legs and arms. One more time, scoop it up, and then reach it back. Good. And then the last scoop, you're going to reach those arms up and keep reaching up, extending the legs up and really feeling that length. And then drop the left knee and do a little Atlas shrug twist away to your right. And then press through the feet. And this is really fun. You're going to press through the feet and spiral all the way open in the opposite direction, reaching up really tall. Let the hips lead you back. Let your heart follow forward. Don't worry if you're facing the camera or not here, facing the screen rather or not. Just let yourself follow the cues. Hands find the mat. And you're just going to get familiar with the mat. Rock through your hands and feet. Feel the weight shifting into the hands, into the feet. Get comfortable with the floor. Paw the mat a little bit. Paw the floor. And then from here, walk the feet in just a little bit so you feel stable in your hips. Press through the feet. Scoop the tail under. Roll the shoulders back. Roll yourself up. Hands to the hips. Take your left foot out and then bend both knees and rock side to side in your hips. And just feel the mobility here in your hips, finding your stance that works for you. It might have to be a little wider, might need to be shorter. And then just rock those hips over to your right, let the left leg extend, and you'll naturally start lengthening the spine over into Trikonasana. The left arm comes down, and then we scoop that right arm up. Feel that space you can create as the arm reaches up. Let it reach back, and then again, find that space as you scoop up. Pause for a moment and just breathe across the chest. Feel the openness across the chest and shoulders. Let the left knee start to bend. Flip your left palm over and then carry this huge boulder over your shoulders into reverse warrior two, letting that left knee reach forward. Release that boulder, and then with your left hand, make a nice big offering to the left, feeling the space under the right or the left rib cage on the bottom side of the ribs, and just maintain that space for a moment. Hips are going to keep turning, and we'll again do that Atlas twist as we face all the way to the left now. And then letting yourself turn forward, hands find the mat, and go ahead and walk the foot outside the hands, and just a nice big hula hoops in your hips. Nice big hula hoops. From there, keeping those hands planted, back toes tucked under, you can bring the feet back to an easy plank and then just lift those hips to a buoyant downward dog sort of prep with bend in elbows and knees. And that little buoyancy in the knees can let you hop towards your hands. Slowly roll up the spine, roll the shoulders back. And then in place, just sort of bounce for 5, 4, 3, 2, and then slow down. 1. Same thing other side. Right leg goes back to a short lunge. You're facing the back of your mat now, the back short edge. Both knees bend. We scoop the air up with the hands, and then lengthen the arms back as you lengthen the legs. One more time. Scoop it up, and then reach it back. And on your last scoop, you keep reaching up and you lengthen everything up. Arms and legs extend, and then dropping the back knee to the mat, turning to your left through that Atlas twist. And then having fun with this, you're going to spiral all the way open, reaching up, extending everything. Hips reach back, pulling you down into Prasarita Padottanasana. But go ahead and bend everything, buoyancy. Get familiar with the mat. Feel the floor. Shift your weight. We're going to be using these hands on the floor on a few poses today, so feel the floor. All right, let the weight shift back over the feet. Tuck the tail, press the floor, roll yourself up. Right foot's going to turn out, left foot turns in a little bit, and then to decide how big your stance needs to be, move in your stance. You know, the The movement sort of determines whether it's working for you, where your feet should be pointing. And then extending through that right leg rather, you're going to press into the hip socket and let the spine lengthen naturally. Trikonasana, the right arm extends and the left arm creates space. Nice big circle. One more time. And when you feel that upper edge of the circle, just really slow that tracing of the circle down so you can feel the stretch and the space you're making. Right palm turns over, right knee starts to bend, and we lift that big boulder into reverse Virabhadrasana 2. You let go of that boulder, and then you make a nice offering with the right hand, feeling the space you're creating in the spine and in the bottom rib cage. Keep letting those hips turn as you turn to your right, little Atlas twist. And then turning back towards the front foot, walking foot outside of the hands to make a little space for the hips. And drawing some nice big circles with the hips. Starting to release into your right hip flexor, which rarely gets any space throughout the day. All right, planting those hands firmly, tucking back toes together to a easy plank, and then lifting those hips, easy dog prep, wag that tail. And then feel the weight shift into your hands. Let yourself 1 or 2 hop to your hands. Press the feet down, roll the hips forward, the shoulders roll up and back. And then just bouncing. 5, 4, 3, slow it down, 2, and 1. Find your breath flow, slight smile. We'll take that left leg back again for that similar stance. It's a short lunge. We're going to scoop the air up and reach the arms and legs back. One more time, scoop it up and then reach it back as you extend the legs. But this time, keep those arms circling out to the sides. You're going to trace this huge wide circle. And then the arms eventually come forward and they let the spine relax over the leg. Bend back knee to give yourself a little break there. And then wag your tail. And so you can, as you wag the tail, therapeutically, you can really feel as if you had a big long tail and it really helped you find your whole spine. That's helping you find your whole hamstring. And then bring the back knee in to meet the back heel, and you actually sit down onto that left hip bone. The left hand finds the right knee, right fingertips behind. And I want you to twist into your knee, creating space, creating length, creating space for the twist. A twist is 1 part length and 1 part twist. You gotta have space in there. Keep that space as you slowly untwist. Hands find the mat to your left, and then just standing up in that little squatting position, and you're over here at the right side of your mat. Bring the hands to the middle of the mat, so they're over to your left now. Shift your weight into the hands for a moment and then pop over to the left side of your mat. Feel the weight sort of move through momentum. The arms really just stabilize as you move side to side, gorilla movements. Stability in the shoulders here, not so much strength as stability. Come to the middle, wag your tail a little bit, press the feet, push the hips forward, roll yourself up, roll the shoulders back. Left foot turns out, right foot turns in, hands on your hips, and then again, bend the knees a couple times to find your stance. You'll feel your feet naturally shift to find what's appropriate for you. Push those hips over to the right, extending the legs, floating easily towards Trikonasana. Left arm comes down, and then the shoulder rotates to find space. We take that right into the boulder, lifting up, bending the left knee, reverse Vira 2. And then making that offering with the left hand, pausing here, and again trying to feel the space you've created in this lateral angle prep. And then again with this Atlas twist, let the hips keep turning. Let the back knee find the mat, and a big twist to the side. Again, with this you can really feel literally the space between your arms, and that translates to your twist. Hands come down to the mat. And again, we walk the hands inside the foot. Some easy hula hoops just to get some space in our hips. And then from here, walk the hand around the foot so that you're actually weaving your arm through the leg. And then lift the back knee. And this just helps you find a little bit more work in that hip flexor, a little bit more length across the right hip. And you're massaging that with some circular motions through hips and heel. Back knee can lift for more depth. Drop that back knee, walk the hands forward, and then just standing up. Now standing up rather onto your right knee. And just like we've been doing before, you're going to scoop that right arm up. And this time the hand comes back, and you just sort of see where it falls behind you. Tucking your back toes can make this a little bit more enjoyable, a little more balanced. And you're really just flirting with this Hatha-Strasana or Anjaneyasana with a back bend, a little extra, whatever you want to call it. Next time it reaches back, you just let it flirt, see if it just gently grazes the leg or not, no problem. And then coming forward, planting hands under shoulders, shifting weight into those hands back to plank, bending the knees a little bit, and then pushing yourself back to that down dog with buoyancy and the elbows and the knees wagging your tail. Excellent. Now from here, tuck your tail under, rounding the spine. You're going to float forward over through a plank position, but then drop the knees and let the heart peek through the arms. Laying your body down on the mat. Left arm reaches forward. Peel heart away from mat. Lifting heart from floor. Bend right knee, find right shin, ankle, or foot. Urdhva Dhanurasana. Fingertips can, you can tent your fingers, or your hand rather, in your left hand, and then kick gently back through the shin and the foot as you pull on shin and foot to lift heart. Shoulders root down the back. See if you can get a little bit of movement in the neck and feel the work evenly. Slowly release that foot down. We'll extend the leg back. Hands come back under the shoulders, and we press back to Bhaktasana for a deep breath or two into the rib cage, specifically into the back of your rib cage. Rocking a little side to side could feel great right now. Excellent. From there, round the spine up into a cat position for a moment, just a little bit more counter pose. Tuck your toes under, push yourself back to a real easy, buoyant dog. And then another opportunity here for 2 hops or 1 hop towards your hands. Tuck the tail under as you roll yourself up. When you find yourself all the way up, a little bit of bouncing in place. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Shake it out. Right leg comes back to a short lunge. Both knees have buoyancy and they bend. Scoop the air up, nice inhale, and then lengthen back. And you can just take this right in. As the legs reach back, you draw that big circle to the sides, creating a ton of space in the torso for this forward fold. As the body comes forward over the leg, bend the back knee a little bit and wag the tail. Let that tail wag transfer all the way through the spine to the head. Enjoy the tail wag. There's really something to be accomplished here if you can feel the therapeutic quality through the entire spine. Bending front knee, bringing back knee into the heel, and then sitting the right hip down on the floor. Right hand to left knee, left hand comes behind you, fingertip tent. And then create space as you lengthen into your twist, twisting to the left. Shoulders relaxing down the back, the neck long. Plenty of room for your breath here. And slowly turning forward, we find the mat with our hands. Press through those hands. It'll lighten the load as you sort of untwist the legs. Walk hands to the middle, and then you start to use the stability of your shoulders to experiment with these side-to-side gorilla hops. And we'll come to center. Rock a little bit. Release the spine and neck. Tuck the tail under. Press the hips gently forward. The spine naturally pulls itself up. Good. And then you might widen your stance a hair or two. The right foot's going to turn out. Left foot's going to turn in. We'll see how much. Hands to the hips. And as you start to move, your feet will naturally find alignment that works for your knees and your hip sockets. Push those hips over to the left, extending the right leg. Just let yourself breathe in Trikonasana. And then find your space. Right arm comes down, left arm reaches up, and you find all that space. We'll go ahead and just keep going with that, lifting the boulder, bending the right knee, and then releasing that boulder back, making the offering with the right hand, pausing here, and again feeling the breath, feeling the underside of the rib cage not cramped, not too tight. You've got plenty of room there to breathe. And then one Atlas twist as we keep turning to the right, feeling the space between the arms that transfers to your spine, and then facing down to the mat, walking hand inside the leg so that your right hand's on the outside of your right foot, lifting the back knee and drawing some circles here, a little bit deeper version of the hula hoop, allowing yourself to get a little bit deeper into the psoas. Pausing there, we'll drop the back knee, slowly bring the hand inside the foot and standing up on the knee and the foot. And then the Anjaneyasana or Ustrasana flirts, whichever way you want to call it, scooping with your left hand. And then trying to maintain that heart lifting, not worrying about how far down the hands reach, right? You got to look at the whole posture, not just the very tip of it. And the next time the hand goes back, just really watch as you maintain the space through that moment of the bend. And then coming forward, planting the hands. You bring both feet back and just pause for a minute in like a little downward dog, a little buoyant dog, just giving the back a little break. Dropping the knees down, floating the heart forward, finding the mat. Right arm comes forward, you can tent those fingertips. Heart peels off the floor with the strength of your back. Left knee bends, finding shin, ankle, or foot. And then take your time with this. As you kick back through the foot, you pull on the leg, Urdhva Dhanurasana. The shoulders maintain sort of reaching down the back. They don't hunch up towards the neck. You keep the neck long. You keep space in the neck. You should be able to breathe here. If there's any pinching in the knee, that could indicate a little meniscus issue. You don't want to kick back into that. Lighten up a little bit. Find the breath. Slowly releasing the foot. We'll let that leg extend back. And just stack the hands for a moment. Let the head rest on top of your hands and breathe deeply into your back. You can lift the head, hands come under the shoulders, press yourself back, tuck the toes, sort of in a down puppy position. Elevate the knees just off the mat, wag the tail a couple times. And then we'll round the back through our rounded back plank position. Just a real little upward dog, nothing too deep. We were just in a back bend. And then pull those abs right back in, keeping the toes tucked, reaching the hips back, saying hello to Malasada, making your appearance. And then 2 or 1 hops forward to your hands. And slowly, again, the feet press, the hips reach forward, the spine uncurls, the shoulders roll back. Walk the feet out a little bit if they're a little too narrow, and then start to bounce. 5, 4, 3, 2, and slow it down. 1, and then try a shake. Shaking is a little harder than bouncing, but you get better at it. It's a different way for the muscles to fire. And slow that down. And now find your breath again. You're welcome to bring the hands to the heart. Feel that hand to heart connection. And just bring everything back to center. Believe it or not, we're 2/3 of the way through. We're going to take this last vinyasa a little bit slower so we can work a little bit more deeply into some more advanced postures. There will always be bus stops along the way. Participation is always possible. Slight smile here as you take one more breath into your heart. And releasing the hands down. And we'll start with the left leg back again, same as before. A short lunge with buoyancy in the knees and the hips. Go ahead and scoop up once here with an inhale. And then exhale, reach it back, lengthening back through the legs, drawing that big circle, but this time stopping as the arms pass through that T position. And as the arms continue to go forward, shift your weight forward. Find a focal point just ahead of your mat. And when you're ready, try to continue to lengthen back through your leg, not all the way into a strict Vira 3, but I want you to keep buoyancy in all of your limbs, a little bend in all of your limbs. Feel where the weight is in your foot. Is it all at the front of the foot? Is it in the back, the side? Can you lift your toes and keep a little bend in your limbs? Feel the glutes here working so much more deeply than if your arms and legs were just locked out. Can you breathe in this position? Can you feel the space that your body is holding for you? Awesome. We're going to slowly bring that knee down to that heel just like before. Let yourself turn to your right, dropping left hip to the mat. Left hand comes to right knee, right hand comes behind, and then create that space in your twist. Pulling the knee in just a little bit, hugging that knee in towards the body. You can feel a little counter pose as you stretch those glutes that were just working so hard. And slowly turning back around, hands come to your left, let the weight shift into them so you can peel up. But this time, we're just going to find a little bit of motion in our hips, and we're going to play with a floating Bakasana. Floating Bakasana, the hands come up in front of your mat, the feet walk a little bit closer to you, and you experiment first with shifting the weight into the hands, not even worrying about anything else. Just, does this feel comfortable? Believe it or not, this is, really the first step, getting the weight into those hands, and then pause. All right. Now from here, of course, for Bakasana, we would be using the back of our triceps as a post for our knees. And so instead of looking at it like a strength issue, you can really move into it with a little bit more momentum. You can approach it the same way you were just playing with it and feel the floating nature of the arm balance. It doesn't matter if you stay up there. What really matters is that your body is working together. That you're working with momentum and strength just like in your day-to-day life. These are the kind of things that transfer. Maybe you pause for an extra breath. Maybe you're sitting down on the mat taking an extra breath. Wherever you're at, you can slowly release. We're actually going to bring those hands down, spread the feet wide. Release any tension in the back. Little snaking movements can help. Press feet, roll yourself up, give those hips a little break. Hands to your hips. Left foot turns out, right foot turns in a little bit. Easy motions in your knees, finding your stance, kicking over into Trikonasana, allowing the spine to flow to the side. Creating space with the right arm as it circles up. Find the boulder, carry it up as the left knee bends. Make the offering with your left arm, but this time we're going to pause here. Feel all that space you've created. Look at a focal point in front of the mat. Shift the remaining weight into your left leg. And when you're ready again, we're going to try and just float here, Urdhva Chandrasana, but not locking out limbs. I challenge you to keep buoyancy in all your limbs, to try lifting your toes, to feel where your weight is in your foot, to make your body actually participate in this process. When you lock out, you really just miss out. So just keep that little bit of buoyancy in the limbs. Slowly coming back, we're going to find the mat and scoop the right arm down, a little Atlas twist to your left. And then just facing the mat. And just some easy lazy dogs. Just going to kick those hips back. Just give that left leg a little stretch, a little break. All right, then shifting the weight forward. Walk the hands inside your right foot. They're going to be like 45 degrees from the foot. Like here's my knee and my heel. They're sort of at this 45 degree mark. Everybody's limbs are different. We're moving to an advanced pose, okay? This is one of those moments when you gotta really have fun with it, or why try? So from here, you're gonna bend the elbows and see if you can get that right elbow to meet your right hip. And if you can find that right hip, that's gonna be so helpful. And as you start to lean into the right elbow and the right hip, let the inside of your left thigh find your left elbow. And now you've got two really great focal points. And as you shift the remaining weight forward onto your hands, the forearm does most of the lifting and then trying to extend the legs. Eka Pada Kundinyasana 2. You're welcome to try that again with one more breath. Elbow to hip, left elbow to inner thigh. As you shift weight, you can start to extend legs and slowly find the mat. Facing forward over that front foot. We're actually going to bring this left foot back and stand up on our knees for a moment. If you can tuck your toes, keep them tucked under. It'll just help. Hands come to the back of your hips. Ustrasana variation. We've been sort of building up to this in a couple of ways. We're going to take the right arm. We're going to lift that right arm up and sweep it up and pause here at the top. Feel the amount of space you have from your knees to your hips to your shoulders to your hand. And try and maintain that space using your left hand at the base of the pelvis. Try and maintain that space as the arm traces that big circle that maintains all that space. Maybe the hand flirts with the calf or the heel. Maybe the hand comes right back to the hips. The left arm does not have to stay put. It can actually extend up, giving you a little bit of leverage to maintain the space across the chest and the ribs. And so your fingertips can be supporting you on the heel, perhaps. Left arm reaching up. Last breath. To come out, we'll bring that left arm down, helping her support the low back, coming all the way up. And then go ahead and let the palms float up, Balasana for a breath. Kick down through the shins and the feet, round the spine up into the sky. As you press the tops of the hands into the mat, let the hips leave the heels. Feel the space between the shoulders stretching. We'll continue to keep standing up. The arms will come forward, walking out on our mat. Little connecting vinyasa. Tuck your toes. Lift your hips to an easy downward dog with a little tail wag. And from there, rounding the back through a rounded plank, letting the knees find the mat. Baby up dog. Pull the abdominals in to send your hips back into a supported, buoyant downward dog. And then 2 or 1 hops to your hands. Walk the feet a little bit wider usually, and then scoop the tail under to roll yourself up and back. Shoulders roll back. Before we do our final side, with one surprise pose left to go in there, a little bit of bounce. A little bit of bounce in place. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then try to shake. It shakes a little harder. 3, 2, 1, and slow that down. Bring the hands to the heart. Just get nice and centered, just like before. We got a whole experience coming our way here, right in the next few minutes. And start with your breath. Make that space inside. Let your mind relax, let your forehead relax. Soak up the work you've done and make space for more to come. Try to feel completely spontaneous here as we move through these motions that you're familiar with, but feel each one for the first time. Relax the hands down. The right leg goes back to a short lunge. Little rocking. We're going to scoop. And we're going to press back and do 1 extra of those just to get back in the flow. Scoop. And then press back. And then keep those legs extending, reaching out. As the arms pass through that T position, shift weight forward, find a focal point. And then let the body approach Virabhajasana 3 without any locked limbs. As you unlock your limbs, you find all of your joints. All of your muscles start to work. You can feel the glutes in the left side really firing deeply. Let the toes ungrip. Feel the big toe mound, the little toe mound, the heel. Move the weight around that foot. Last breath. Slowly find the mat behind you. Let the hands come down. We'll bring the right knee into the left heel, sitting back onto our right hip, reaching across, left hand behind. Lengthening up, pulling the knee in, a little Urdhva Matsyendrasana. And feel the counter pose for the left hip. Little micro massage movements here. Slowly turning back to our right, hands find the floor. They take the weight off of our legs, easily untwisting. A little bit of movement here through the spine, get familiar with the floor. And we're back to the floating Bakasana. Couple of floats, you're familiar with this by now. Feel free to make that connection with the hand or the knees behind the triceps, and then continue to use momentum. Don't look at it as a static position. Let it move. You'll have so much more fun with it if you just allow yourself to move. It's a spectrum of possibilities. Your last one here. Hands plant, feet go a little wider. Little movement through the hips. Roll the spine up. Pause for a moment here at the peak. Let those hip flexors release. Some circles maybe with your hips. Right foot turns out, left foot in. Rock in knees, move through hips. Hands are going to press back through those hip sockets. Approaching Trikonasana. Let the arm reach down, scoop up, create space into your boulder, lift, bend knee. Keep that space as you make the offering with the right hand. Find a focal point off the top edge of your mat. Shift weight to the right leg, and then let all the weight shift without locking out, approaching Urdhva Chandrasana. Left arm can reach up, find suppleness in all of the limbs. Notice where the work is, ungrip toes. Be a part of this. Don't assume it. You don't have to push yourself into a fixed shape. Be a part of the exploration. It's so much more fun and it's so much better for us. Let the mind turn off and just explore and feel. Last breath. Finding the mat with the back foot. Allow yourself to continue to turn to your right for that little Atlas twist. Turning back down towards the front foot, little lazy dog. Just let that leg relax for a second, massaging the back of the heel. Shifting the weight back forward, we bring hands inside of the legs, okay? Ekapada Kunanyasana 2, our second and last try. We bring our left elbow towards our left hip. You can even just start it there and then let yourself lean onto it. Bring your right elbow to the inside of the right thigh. And when you feel both of those connection points, you just can extend your back leg. You can even keep that leg right on the floor. You can extend the back leg, and when you feel ready, floating up, extending legs, playing with it. Give it one more shot. Excellent. We're going to slowly walk our hands back forward, and we'll stand up on our knees. Take a breath here. Roll the shoulders, move the hips a little bit. Hands come to the back of the hips. Toes are tucked if that's possible for you. And we start with our left arm. It's going to scoop up. We're going to pause here at the peak and try and feel the length you've generated here in this simple action. And then instead of thinking the hand's going down, trace it on a huge imaginary circle. It's reaching back and potentially grazes the heel or the calf, or maybe it comes right back to your hips, wherever it's at. Fingertips can extend to help you out. Right arm can lift up. That gives you that little leverage to maintain the space across the chest, which translates to the low back feeling good, and the back bend bringing you some buoyancy. And then from here, we'll bring the hand back, the right hand that is, back to the hips, left hand to the hips, and then bowing forward, Balasana. Tops of the hands on the mat, breathing deeply into the back of your ribs. Lift hips off of heels, round back into sky, press down through tops of hands. Little isometric stretch between the shoulder blades occurring. Shoulders down away from the ears. Great, and then slowly, we're just gonna keep those hands going forward, walk them on the mat, and then tuck the toes under one more time, little downward dog action, wag the tail. And then rounding the spine forward, dropping the knees. We're gonna make our way all the way down to the mat for our surprise last asana. From here, you can just extend your right arm and roll onto your back. You probably just rolled off your mat. That's fine. You can scooch back on it if you want. It's up to you. Urdhva Mukha Dhanurasana, upward facing bridge. Of course, a great one that is on the way to upward facing bridge would be bridge. So to start, hands are down by the hips, and then drag, go and let the feet go forward a little bit. And then drag them in towards the hips. So your heels are actually pulling in towards your hips. That fires your hamstrings. And watch as you lift your hips from that position, how light your hips feel. Slowly tuck the tail, roll the spine down. Do that one more time. It's a pretty amazing experience if you've never done it. Drawing the heels in, and keep those heels sort of drawing in as you lift your hips. Feel how weightless they become. Now from this position, draw the arms together behind your back, and you can interlace your hands there, and then extend one leg and then the other leg out. If it hurts to have your hands interlaced, you can flatten them. We're just laying on our arms right now. This is our prep for our final posture. Just feeling that space across the chest. Working those shoulders together. Hopefully this feels good. Always modify if it's not feeling totally beneficial. Great. And then you can bend your knees to get the weight off and walk those arms out. Urdhva Mukha Dhanurasana. The hands come just at the top of your shoulders. The fingertips facing towards you. Starting the same way as you do with bridge, draw those heels in towards the sit bones, activating the hamstrings, weightlessly lifting your hips, and then option to press through the hands to continue that lift through the upper body, through the torso. Draw the elbows just gently towards each other. You don't have to do anything dramatic, but just sort of have the elbows following the trajectory of the arms. Feel the length across the neck, lengthening the back of the neck with your last breath, tucking the chin, and then laying the spine back down on the mat. And we'll give those knees a little hug and rock side to side. Try to let your neck release as you rock. Okay, you're bringing those feet down. You can extend that right arm and then roll over your right side. And I just want to pause here for a sec. Stay on that right side and just roll a couple extra times. Just letting that side body find some release. And we'll come onto the belly. Same thing other side. So that left arm extends. And then just rolling on your side a couple extra times. And slowly back. Hands press through the mat. We'll take another breath here in Bhaktasana. Reaching the hands forward, slightly tucking the tail, rocking a little bit here to massage the forehead on the mat. Slowly rounding the back into the sky, finding yourself in table position. And from table, just some easy organic movements of the spine, nothing too deep. Cat-cow or side to side, or just some nice figure eights. Just moving that spine with no weight on it. Sitting back to your heels. We'll kick the feet over to the right side. Hips fall to the left naturally. Reach across the body. For this position, Bharadvajasana, you can also stack the legs into a 90-90 position, whatever feels good. You're going to spin away from your heels, away from your feet, looking over empty space. Relaxing shoulders down the back. Turn your head a couple of times, wobble the head. Slight smile just for you. Slowly turning forward. And just to mix it up, we're going to turn forward. We're going to let our knees go all the way to the other side, and then you'll just turn to your right. So real easy. But just feel the space across the torso. Letting the body cool down. Great. Slowly turning back to the mat. And you just move yourself down the mat a little bit. We'll do a little bit more on our backs to cool down before Shavasana. A couple of easy rolls to start. Literally feeling the back as it rolls. Trying to feel each part that touches down. And then you can just stay on your back. Some easy circles with the knees. I like to do them hands-free. It just tends to put me more into my body. Switching direction. Planting feet on edges of mat, arms at T, easy twist side to side. Turning away from your knees, twisting the whole spine. Great. You can grab the feet. And just one more thing here. Happy baby at the upper back. Get any kinks out from between the shoulder blades. You did a little bit of extra back bending today, a little bit of shoulder stability. And we'll slowly lengthen those legs out. Palms up. Nice little touch for Shavasana is to press your head into the mat and then move your shoulders down away from your ears and then relax your shoulders down. It gives you a little bit more space for the neck. And start to lengthen your breath flow out here in Shavasana. Just make it a little bit smoother, a little bit longer than normal. Nothing extreme, of course. Shavasana is relaxing. Just a little bit slower and longer than normal. And that will help you feel the space of the breath. Feel the space that is inside of you all the time. So much potential. And if we were to turn our focus towards this space more throughout our day, the space of the heart, the space of the breath, if we could just feel this space, how much would change on its own? And so here you have the last 5 minutes of class to just let your attention sink easily and simply into this space. There's nothing you have to do except for feel the space in the heart as you relax. Rocking your head a little side to side, moving the fingers and the toes. You're always welcome to stay here as long as you like if you're at home. Moving the hands and feet in and out. We'll draw the heels in, hugging the knees in, and a little side to side here. Let the neck and head follow you. And you can roll on to your left side, supporting your head on your arm. See if you can still notice that space here in this resting position, even though you're curled up. Top leg reaches long, hand pushes through the floor, brings you up to your seat. Finding a comfortable position. Let the face relax, let the jaw relax, let the hands come to the heart. And just slow these last couple breaths down so that you can continue to feel the space. And it's this space you can reach for throughout your day. Whenever life feels tight or contracted, space is available. And it's this practice that paves the way for you doing just that.